The series on the 26th of the Hebrew month of Cheshvan marks the Hilula of a really great rabbi, Greece-born rabbi. His name was Hanania, Gabriel, Yehoshua, Zeche Tzadik Libracha. He was actually born in Saloniki in Greece, one of the great rabbis, especially from the 1800s over there, respectively. He would become the head of a Jewish court, Ab Bet Din, and will be part of, let's just say, Moatzot Rabbanot, part of the rabbinic committee in Cairo, in Mitzrayim. He'll be the head of the Jewish court in Jerusalem for the Sephardi community, and will be the author of great Torah books and Shluchei D'Rabbanan. Let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. So as we said before, he was actually born on the 31st of January in the English year 1875. He was born in Greece, in Saloniki. And he was, I believe, the only son to the great Rabbi Gabriel Shabtai, who we've spoken about, I believe, about on various occasions before. He himself, his father, happened to be a Dayan and a man of the congregation in, let's say, in Greece, and had various different prominent roles within regards to different foundations in Jerusalem. That was his great father. And when he was 1 year of age, I believe he actually moved to the land of Israel. So he came to Israel at a very obviously extremely young age, and until 19 years old, he learned in a Bet Sefer called the Doresh Tzion, Torah Academy. We have spoken about on various occasions before. I think it was a Bet Sefer, it was a Bet Midrash, it was based in Jerusalem, it was a Talmud Torah. I think predominantly for Sephardi custom and people that were following that specific custom, and many of the great rabbis would actually emerge from there. And then afterwards, he learned in the Beit Midrash of Rabbi Menachem Bachar Yitzchak, very, very great rabbi. And then afterwards, he would learn in Yeshivat Tiferet Yerushalayim. I think he actually learned right next to it as a chavruta with Rabbi Ben Sion Meir Chai Uziel, who would later on become a famous chief rabbi of Israel after the period of the formation of the state. In fact, this great place, Tiferet Yerushalayim, was based, I think, in Jerusalem in itself. I think it was actually founded and made in the year 1873, and many great rabbanim and great people will actually come from this institution. Also, I think over there he was learning with Rabbi Yosef Mordechai Halevi, who was also another great rabbi, rabbi of the congregation and an educator in Jerusalem and head of the Jewish court, and Rabbi Nisim Yehuda Danon, who would become a Rishon Letzion and a Chacham Bashi during the Ottoman time period over there, respectively. So really great people he was learning with at that point in time. When he was 18 years of age, he got married to Rabbanit Rachel, happened to be, I believe, the daughter of Rabbi Abraham of Lotaka. Very, very great people itself. And I think she was a granddaughter of Rabbi Yitzchak Oblatka, who was, I think, from Prague, actually, interesting enough, from the Czech Republic. And he would learn in various different yeshivot. I think of the yeshiva of Rabbi Yaakov Shaul Elishar, who happened to also become I think he was a chief rabbi, Rishon LeZion, between the English years 1893 to 1906, and head of the Jewish court in Jerusalem, respectively. Then, come what year 1901, he would actually form with the famous Rabbi Yosef Mordechai Halevi and Rabbi Ben Sion Meir Chai Uziel, the Beit Yehoshua Aspardi, this famous place, I think, and this was a place for many years. And then in the year 1906, he was appointed to actually work as part of the Chaver Va'ad Ha'ida Asfardit, the committee within regards to the congregation of the Sephardi community, along with Rabbi Yitzchak Ashkenazi and Rabbi Mordechai Shirizeli. Really great rabbanim in and of itself. So he was really surrounded constantly by great rabbis. And then he would actually work as part of the Bet Din, the Jewish court, of Rabbi David Papo in Jerusalem. Rabbi David Papo, we mentioned about in a video before, happened to be the chief rabbi of various different places, including Turkey, Macedonia, and various other places, and also, I believe, in Baghdad in Iraq, if I'm not mistaken. And then he would, at this point in time, I think he would actually be sent as a Shluchei D'Rabbanan, as a rabbinic emissary, let's just say, for the needs of Jerusalem in general. And he went to Tripoli in Libya over there. Remember, at that stage in time in Libya, there was a great Torah Jewish community. And in the year 1909, he would actually come out of this, let's say, shlichut in of itself, and will go to Mitzrayim, to Egypt, In January 1912, he will be part of, let's say, Avad, העדה הספרדית in Jerusalem. And he was under various great other rabbis. He would work along with Avram Bij Ajo, another great rabbi, Shluchei Derabanan, and a Dayan. Also with Rabbi Yosef Mordechai Levi, who we mentioned before, Rabbi David Papo, we also mentioned him, Rav Raphael Shlomo Laniado, who happened to be a famous Kabbalist, obviously, and Rosh Yeshiva, and one of the, I think the first Rosh Yeshiva, if I'm not mistaken, was Yeshivat Porat Yosef, and Yeshivat Ohel Moed, very prominent positions, and also Rav Yosef Shaul Elisha, who we mentioned also about before. And then in the year 1914, he took on various different other prominent positions at that stage in time. I believe he represented the Jewish community in Jerusalem in making a recruiting committee with regards to, I think, connecting to the army in of itself, representing the Jewish community. Then during the First World War, he went, I believe, to, let's just say, Turkish headquarters in Damascus, in Syria, and to try and exempt yeshivot learners, Talmidei Chachamim, and various different rabbis from military service during the war, and it was successful, I believe, this mission which he actually took upon himself. Then in between the years 1920 to 1925, I think he went for various different shlichot, let's just say shlichot derabanan, roles to various different countries, if I'm not mistaken. Then come on to 1925, April, he finished, I think, his role with regards to the position of the Chaver Beit Adin Birushalaim, being part of the Jerusalem Jewish court, and would actually then go and move to Cairo in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, respectively, where he actually had went before. And he was, I believe, appointed as a deputy to the great rabbi, Rabbi Chaim Nachum Effendi, who I think did actually a whole video on different aspects with regards to that great rabbi. And then he would work as, I think, the Nasi, the leader or the president of the Moatzot HaRabbanot and the head of the Jewish court of the Jewish congregation until the year 1929 over here. And I think after he was in Cairo, he would actually eventually move back to Jerusalem, and he would found the Be'ir Snif Shel Hishtadrut HaMizrachi, if I'm not mistaken. This was part of the Chavrat, the organization Degel HaTorah, where there was different, let's just say, targets within regards to it, especially within regards to chinuch, education, I believe, a Torah education in itself. And much more can be related within regards to the great rabbi. There was famous, let's say, a period of events, especially, I think, during the 1950s. I think there was a Jerusalem Cadi who lived near the Western Wall, forbade placing benches in the compound for Jewish people that wanted to pray. Rabbi Hanania sent a representative to try and cancel this specific ban in of itself, and I think he succeeded in cancelling this ban. There was anti-Semitism all throughout Jewish history, and unfortunately we can see before 1948 there was a lot. He served, I believe, as a member of the court of the Sephardi community in Jerusalem, and then later stage was elected to serve as head of the community's court in the city, respectively. He had a huge amount of public activity he did during his time for the congregation in itself and for the neighborhoods in Jerusalem, especially in the Kiryat Moshe and Beit V'gan neighborhoods in of itself. And he, I think, established the Moatzot HaRabbanot Areshit at the time of the Sultan, when there was a British mandate, if I'm not mistaken, and took on various other roles at that specific point in time. I think in the year 1939, he would actually work as the chief rabbi in itself of Tel Aviv, and a very prominent position. That's actually interesting. He had famous, let's just say, relatives also, including, I believe, his uncle, if I'm not mistaken, was Rabbi Cheskia Shabtai. His son was Yaakov Yehoshua, who was, I think, also a famous person, had prominent governmental connected roles, if I am not mistaken. And his grandson was Avram Yehoshua, if I'm not mistaken, happened to be a author of a book, and have various different roles, let's just say, in Israeli society, prominent roles, and made him famous in of itself. Now, he wrote great books, including the Mנחat, Hachag, if I'm not mistaken, which is the Shut, She'elot and Shuvot, on the 4 sections of the Code of Jewish Law, the Shulchan Aruch, respectively. Then there was a Makorot Halacha, which came out, I think, from his son Yaakov in the Hebrew Yehei Tafshin Yud Zayin. I think he was part of the writing of the journal of the Asaf, which we've spoken about before, I think, which was actually organized and compiled by Rabbi Ben-Zion Avram Kohanika, who actually did a video on, I believe, just over the last 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, because it was his Hilula, and wrote different important writings inside that publication in of itself. So it's his Hilula. He passed away on the 11th of November in the English in 1955. He was 80 years of age at the time of passing. He was buried in Har HaMenuchot cemetery in Jerusalem, respectively. Among his rabbis, as we mentioned before, was Rabbi Bachar Menachem Yitzchak and Rav Yaakov Shaul Elisha, really great rabbi. So please don't forget to light candles in his memory. Vav Cheshvan is his Hilula, great author, great rabbi, great Dayan, was very, very well traveled all over. And friends, please subscribe to the channel. We are a community here learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. Like the videos, share the videos, and wishing you all blessings from Israel. Have a good week and Shavua Tov.